Hey, I've done tutorials on this before, and those that know me know that I love the MyListing theme when it comes to a directory website, just because it has so much contained within there. Like, it's a full-on package, and it allows me to very quickly create a directory website without having to worry about too much coding or trying to get too many plugins to work and fit together. You can see it over here where we got an example. This is a demo, by the way. I'm just showing you. If you ever go to MyListing, go look at their demos, you'll see this website. You can go and search for different categories. You can go and look at actual pages with maps on, look at listings, their details, contact them, go to their website. You can even claim a listing and all of that. I'm going to show you really quickly how we can set all of that up. Not exactly like that, but all of the components you're going to need in terms of thinking about your images, your listings, your categories, your claiming, all of that. How do we do all of that? And I'm going to share some code snippets that you may want to consider when you're building your website, because it can take the functionality a step forward. So let's crack on with that. Now, where do you get the MyListing theme from? Go to Theme Forest and do a search for MyListing. I mean, don't forget, the theme forest is part of the Elementor market, but there you go, the MyListing directory and listing WordPress theme, and it is $59. Now, one thing I will point out though, that gives you 6 months of support. That actually does include the future updates as well. So if you pay $59 as a one-off fee and you don't renew that in, say, 6 months' time, then if there's a brand new MyListing theme update, you could miss out on that. And I would recommend you do that. In fact, I would even say you're better off extending to 12 months for that price there, okay? And because whenever Elementor or WordPress have an update, you want to make sure that your MyListing theme, if that updates accordingly as well, you're getting that. So you purchase that and you download it. What you're going to do though is you are going to activate this theme, but I do want to give you a word of warning about this, okay? When you first get the theme, you're going to get a zipped folder. Do not upload this zip folder, because look, if I double click it and it now unzips it and you go into it over here, there is a parent theme and there is a child theme. Now, depending on what school of thought you come for, a lot of people will go for the child theme. Well, that is if you're happy working with, functions and messing around with a theme editor. Let's be honest here, a lot of people are not happy with that. Upload theme, choose file, go to the unzipped folder, okay? And I'm going to pick the parent theme, and then I'm going to click open, okay, like that. I don't need to do that because it's already on here, but that's what you would do. It takes seconds to upload and activate, to be honest. Now, there will be a few other plugins it recommends. One of them is WooCommerce. Definitely install that if you're going to have paid packages. So in your MyListing directory, people could, if they want, do a free listing, or they could do a paid package that they pay like a one-off fee for instance. So you could easily do that as well. But you will also be asked to do Contact Form 7. Now, Contact Form 7, if you're going to allow your users to, when they get to a listing, fill in a contact form directly back to the vendor or whatever the listing is about, that's good to have. I don't like Contact Form 7. I really don't like it. I prefer Elementor Forms, which you could use as well, but I'm going to give you a bit of advice here. I find that if they want to contact the restaurant or whoever the listing is for, they can go directly to their website, or they can email them or send them a message. If you have a contact form set up, the onus is on you to make sure that contact form, that email goes through the internet to that vendor. And there can be issues sometimes with WordPress or your hosting provider over SMTP. And my word of advice to you is I don't bother with that. And I always steer the clients away from doing that because it can fall over. And the last thing you want is for your client to complain and go, hey, I should have had 10 emails because someone said they'd sent 10 emails, but I never got them. It's a bit of a world of pain, so I tend to go, don't worry about that. Anyway, we've activated the theme. Now, let me just show you some of the plugins you really should consider on your website, okay? Let's go to Install Plugins. Code Snippets is free. This is a great way for you to modify the theme and other bits of your website without touching the theme editor or having a child theme, I do recommend you do that. Duplicate page is free. This one will allow you to create a page and duplicate it. It is a quick and easy way to be efficient and methodical in your working. I recommend that. Elementor, you got to get Elementor free. If you really want to modify this website, you got to get Elementor in terms of the features, the functionalities, and the designs you can do for your pages. Elementor Pro. Look, I'm just going to update this while we're talking. Elementor Pro takes Elementor to another level. You get a heap of extra features with it. Now, you could, if you want, use a free Elementor add-on. But let me tell you now, if you care about your website not having incompatibility or conflict issues down the line, I strongly recommend you invest in Elementor Pro. There's a link in our description if you want. It's $49 a year. I strongly recommend you get it. It is well worth it. Loco Translate. If you want to modify some of the terms or wording you get out of the MyListing theme, like at the moment, it will put the word listing everywhere. Listing details, submit listing, your listing is being approved. If you want to turn the word listing into business or window cleaner or whatever, Loco Translate is super easy and simple, and I will show you how we use that later on. Rank Math SEO, if you want to get your website submitted to Google Analytics, getting your keywords in, just improving the searchability of the website, Rank Math SEO is super, super key and important. There's a link in the video for a 1-hour video we did on the settings and how you can get your keywords in on your page. Please go and watch that. Site Origin CSS is another fantastic tool if you want to modify the look of your website. You don't have to have this one, but what's great about it is that when you're using it, you can look at one of your web pages and you can start to rearrange things and it writes the CSS for you. Again, I strongly recommend you go for that. WooCommerce, obviously you got to have that because it comes as part of it. And if you want your clients to be able to use PayPal or Stripe or whatever you're going to be using, you could add on one of their payment gateways. WooCommerce payment, I think it's WooCommerce PayPal. No, WooCommerce payments. It normally adds in Stripe and enables Apple Pay and things like that. You also have WooCommerce PayPal gateway as well, but they're all good ones to go for. Okay, right. Let's now focus on the actual theme. Now, when you install it. In fact, no, let's go back a step. Do your research, okay, when you are going to be doing your website about what exactly are you going to be showing? What are your listing groups? So if you're going to have a website where you're going to say showcase businesses, okay, are you just going to have one listing group for business? Or are you going to say we're going to have different types of businesses? So you might have restaurant businesses and you might have office businesses. I don't know, okay? And it might be the questions you ask them to complete for the restaurant are different to the office business. Just like the layout might look a little bit different. For instance, on the restaurant one, you're going to say food type. But you're not going to ask the office business food type. Theirs might be industry, right? So you might have different categories in play here. So think about how many listing types you're going to have. It is okay to have just one listing type. You don't have to have multiple ones, okay? Because within each one, you'll have categories. So within the restaurant, you'll have food type. That's a category. You might have other stuff in there for like Michelin stars or how renowned the restaurant is. Whereas the office one will be other stuff. Maybe you're selling cars. For the cars, you'll have engine size, wheel size, sports, digital radio in a car and stuff like that. So you can have one listing type, because you can have multiple categories, or you can have many listing types. Don't make it overly too complex. Think about your end user here. But I just wanted to put that in. Now, when you are working that out, I would say that you also got to collect images. Collect images for your website as well. And maybe, like what we're doing now, you're going to set up some dummy listings maybe, just to kind of have something on there. No one likes a website that has nothing on there, right? Now, I've gone to Canva, which is a great tool. Okay, you can use it for free or the premium version. And I've created 24 fake images. All of these images are quite varied in size, but you can see here they're quite big. Now, my big recommendation to you, and I would try to advise this to your clients as well, convert your images into WebP. Let me show you how we do that. This is a website called bulkresizePhotos.com. It is completely free to use and I strongly recommend you use it. What we're going to do is choose our images and I'm going to take all of these images that we have here. We're going to take all 24. This is great because it can handle tons of images. I once did 120 in one go and it was like really quick. Let's open that. I'm going to set the images to be 100% size, so I'm not scaling them. I can do that in the media library if I have to. Here's the key bit. Convert to WebP. WebP, you're not really going to lose any quality, but it totally compresses them down and it is super good for the rendering and speed of your website. Trust me, this is important. I'm going to leave the image quality at 80% and then we hit start. Look at that. This is doing 24 images, literally like that. And we have gone from 19 megabytes, do the mathematics, okay, divided by 24 images, to 1.4 megabytes, and it's downloaded it. And I'm going to go add new, and I'm going to select. Now, by the way, throughout this tutorial, I am assuming that you are kind of okay with WordPress and sorting out your domain and your hosting. If not, we have got other videos for that. Go and search and watch them. But I would strongly recommend you get your domain from somewhere like Zoho.com or 123reg. You make sure you sort out your email as well. And for your hosting, I strongly recommend SiteGround or Elementor Cloud. Okay, they're my two favorite ones to go to at the moment. When you install it, you have theme tools, listing type, and listing added to your WordPress website. The theme tools one is pretty simple. Let's go to theme options. This is where you now start to define your color schemes within it. Now, the MyListing demo that I just showed you there, or the product, does come with a header. The header is it's quite good, it's nice. However, I want to show you how you can have complete autonomy over your header and how you create it. Because if you want your website to kind of jump and dance and sing, I would recommend you create an Elementor header and an Elementor footer with Elementor templates. That's why you need Elementor Pro. And you're going to have so much more flexibility over how it looks and what it does than if you don't do that. Now, on the theme tools, the only things I would recommend you do in my world and how I do things, I would set your accent color, set your color. I don't really, you can pick a logo image as well. Let's just go and pick a fake image, okay? Let's just pick this one here. Normally you would have had a logo in here, okay? I'm going to have no color, background color. I'm going to leave that as it is. In fact, I'm going to make the background color be white, like that. There'll be no loading screen. And login, register, page background. I'm not going to pick any image there either, okay? That's all I'm going to do. In terms of the header, I'm actually just going to leave this as it is. I'm not going to change the colors because we're going to use our own header. But I will say, I will just undo all of these items here. Just because, even though we're not going to use their header, I don't want anything to be working in the background, even though we're not showing it, that can affect your page speed score. So I'm completely undoing all of that. Yeah, we're going to leave all of that there. We're going to go to the footer. We're not going to show any footer because we're going to add in our own one. Now, the explore and the add a listing page, okay, it won't be present yet within your website because we've not created it. If you were to import a demo, it would do, but we're going to create one completely from scratch. So we're going to come back to this. The single listing, look, here you may though want to modify it a little bit. So I'm going to say the header color. Again, I'm not fussed because we're going to bring through our own header. I'm not going to touch any of this. I'm going to leave this as it is, but I will actually touch this one here. So when you have an image, or the cover image like that shows the background for your listing, this is going to add a bit of an overlay in, and I find the 0.5 to be way too big, so I'm going to change these to be 0.3. You can play around with this, test it out and see how it looks, and then go with what works for you. Right, so we're going to do that. You can also modify how big the image is, the cover header. I think 35 is okay. So when you're on the listing page where you're viewing the full details now for that listing, it takes up about 35% of the page estate at the top. I think that's reasonable. You can make it smaller, you can make it bigger. Don't go for too big and it's kind of overpowering your page now. Down here we have blog. Well, I'm not worrying about that. Here's where we have custom code. So I'm going to drop this bit of code here. Okay, and I will make sure that code is in the description of the video, okay? But it's find a map display. Why have I done that? when you look at the map, you'll have an icon, okay, for the listing. So if you've got an icon you've assigned for restaurants, there'll be a restaurant icon. What it also does, though, is have a further icon on there. So it might have a restaurant and then it has a mini icon for a category or something like that. I find that when you're looking at a map, say you've got 4 listings, you'll have 4 listing icons, and then on top of them, to the corner, you'll have another mini icon. It almost looks like you've got 8 icons, which is confusing. When you do this, find a map, display none, this now only shows 1 icon per listing. And I don't know about you, try it without, okay, try it without. And if you find, no, I prefer to just have 1 icon, put this code in over here. I do this all the time to our MyListing or directory websites because I find it is cleaner. And when you got a map of like 20 listings, it will now appear to be 40 listings. Do you understand what I'm saying there? I'm trying to keep it clean for the user and for yourself. Okay, I'm not going to do anything on the shop page. And for the typography, well, that you could handle within Elementor itself. Now, I'm just going to click Update here. Okay, that is our basic kind of settings. Now I'm going to go over to performance. Now, this one is important. Always enable this. And whenever you create a listing or you change a field or you change anything in the way that MyListing works, you must always, always, always come back to this performance and you will have a button here that says regenerate. Always clear the cache and regenerate, okay? And we'll be doing that later on as well. You also have this option here, which is not other settings, data updates. I strongly recommend that you click this, okay, and you basically make sure that you run through all of these. So you run them, okay, and they take seconds to run, and then you go through and you run every single one of these, okay, to make sure you do not get an error. If you get an error on this, make sure that as part of the MyListing theme, you contact support, because when you purchase the MyListing theme, you get access to their special support network. And you go in and just raise a ticket because it might be that your WordPress database needs to have something added. That has only happened to me once out of the 8 MyListing websites that we've built, once. And it was more to do with their host provider they had. They were with Bluehost, and there was a bit of an issue over there and we had to load something through. If you normally, though, we don't get an issue. So just make sure you do that. When it comes down to listing stats down here now, this option, let me get rid of this message because we don't want to use contact form 7. When your users have registered and created an account and they go back to see how are our listings doing, what do you want them to give access to? And I tend to say that they can see where the website's coming from, but I don't really care about platforms, browsers. We leave countries. Devices we can leave on how many unique views they are, how many views they have, and track block. And I tend to go with that. You can limit this down if you want, because this is going to allow them to basically have access to our listings, not our listings, their listing. And they can now decide on, well, not decide, I'm saying my words wrong here. They can see what's happening with their activity. How are people getting to them? Think of Google Analytics in a way. It's that kind of view they're getting. Last 24 days, 7, 30. I might go for something like that. So just give them up to the last 30 days. And here's now, if you've got a color brand, okay. So if you decide this is our color brand, just go in and change all of these now to be your color brand, right? I'm not going to do it, but you would go in and change them accordingly. And then make sure you hit save settings. Okay. Simple so far. Okay. Then we go to map services. Now for your map to work, you can either do Google Maps or Mapbox. You go to Google Maps, okay, and you click here, go in and set up an account. You get an API key, you stick that in and that's going to work for you. Or you can go over here and you can stick in an API key for Mapbox. Again, click over here. It's really quick to register. There's no much thinking involved in it. It's really quick to do. I prefer Mapbox actually, because I found Mapbox quicker to do than using Google Maps. With Google Maps, you've got to enter in your credit card details and stuff. It takes a bit longer, but Mapbox was a little bit smoother. So you go in, stick your Mapbox API key in. You can leave all of these empty and hit save settings. Now, user roles is quite important because are you going to allow a user to register? And I would say yeah, because you want because it could be that maybe you add all the listings. So let's say you're selling cars. You're not going to let anyone else add a car on, right? You're selling cars that you own or you're trying to sell or whatever. So if you're managing every listing yourself, you don't need to enable this. But if you're going to let people pay or for free add their listing, like maybe they're advertising their hotel or their restaurant or their business or something, you enable user registration. You also get to decide, well, at the moment, everyone is classed as a customer. Let me just show you, let me just come down a moment. So at the moment, for the customer, you're going to say they can add a listing. They can switch role, and what fields do you want from them? Email, username, password. Maybe you want a bit more about them, their social network, about yourself. You could add it or you could remove it. But what if you want to have two accounts? So you have business and customer. The business can register and add their details, right? The customer can also register, so they can bookmark stuff and have a favorite list, but they cannot add a listing. So what we have is alternate account type. We're going to click it and we're going to call this one business. And we're going to say the business can add a listing. They can also switch role and become just a customer. And we want email, username, and password. Now we're going to go back. Let me just save this, by the way. Now we're going to go back up to customer. The customer cannot add a listing, okay? And they cannot switch role. A customer is just a customer. And if we go over here, the default account type is business. So when you join, you should become a business automatically unless you choose to be a customer, okay? Or you might make customer default. But this is now where we've enabled two account types. You can only have two, right? So you can't have like 3 or 4 or 5. So the business can add a listing and they can switch. The customer can't, but they can register. So let's now save that. It's pretty intuitive, right? I mean, it's not that difficult. Direct messages, I actually disable all of that. I don't enable that. Again, because I have found it's not always gonna work. I have to be honest. I have found it's not always, there might be someone sends a direct message and it kind of doesn't actually go to them. Contacting them via their website, their social network, their email, and all of that works totally fine on here. So I kind of go, that's how they'll contact them. Social logon. If you do that, you then got to go through Google or Facebook and get API keys and do that connection. I don't bother with that. I don't bother with the other tab, and I don't even bother with the shortcode tab. Now, if you want, and you want to add in a pre-built website, and then you're going to go in and modify the categories, the regions, the images, bits of the layout, you can do this here. So what you saw at the video at the beginning, that property demo, it's there. So if you want to do it, go for it, and away you go. Same with that was a restaurant, one, or things to do. This was a property one, and here was the car. And you can hit preview as well. Look, let's hit preview. Let's have a look at it. Why not? So this is a preview one. Look at the layout. We have a search bar there, right? This has got for rent. This is listing types. Remember I said, if you had restaurants or office businesses, this is what you have. And look, you got different search parameters. That's how versatile it is. Right, we're going to skip that. But here's the one you really might want to take interest in. Documentation. This is super good. I mean, look, installation, importing demos, header, footer, pages in Elementor, listing types. Look at this. Tons and tons of information. Like if I show you here, let's go here, listing types, the fields tab. Look, this is really good at explaining things, right? So you're not completely lost. Of course, you know where I am. My details are in there. Get in touch if you want us to help build your website or advise you on things like that. But you got tons of support here. There is an Elementor Facebook group, not an Elementor, sorry, a MyListing Facebook group, okay? MyListing users, loads of support in there, over 4,000 users in there. They are so quick at responding to help people out in there. And you've got the support forum as well. When you go back to Theme Forest, okay, Once you've signed up, you'll get an address where you can go to for dedicated support, and they are very quick and good at getting back to you. Right, so we have very quickly just gone over the background of the My Listing in terms of some of the settings. Now, if you remember, I did say think about what are your My Listings going to be and what are your categories. So over here, we have listing types, right? And this is where you would now go to basically create your listing type group. However, before we go there, I'm going to go down here to listings because we have options here to basically see the listings that are created, and you can approve them or edit them, view, delete, and all of that. But you will also see categories, regions, tags, and taxonomies as well, claim entries as well. I'm going to go to settings first of all, and we are going to now make a decision. Are we going to enable our listings to be free, or do you pay for them to add a listing? Let's just leave the paid listing on for now. If you were to do this, there would be no need for them to go through WooCommerce or anything like that. They would register and then straight away they go through to add their listing, and away it goes until you approve it. I'm going to leave this as a paid listing, okay? So that the user, we go through the WooCommerce route just so I can show it to you. We're also going to say that users can edit, but any edits require admin approval. Let's say you approve a listing, and then later on, the user goes and changes all the details. They put expletives in, or they put stuff in they weren't allowed to put in. Well, maybe you need to be approving that. The listing duration, I'm going to leave this blank, okay? Because that then means our listings will stay on there until we remove them, or there's an expiry date on the WooCommerce package they purchased. Can they claim a listing? Yes. And what that means is, let's say you create 400 restaurant listings on your website. You create them and you let the restaurant know, because you've put like skeleton details on, very small details. You've not put the website on, you've not put the email address on, you haven't put the opening times on, you haven't put the menu on either. And the restaurant goes, oh, hold on, we want to pad out our stuff. We got better photos and stuff as well. They have to pay to do that. Why would you let them do it for free, right? They have to pay to do that. So the claim listing, but you have to then create a claim listing page. We've not done that yet. We're going to come back to this later on, okay? And we are going to enable all of the notifications. So, when something is added, when it's approved, and, when they buy something, order status, all of that. If you want to do reCAPTCHA keys, add them in here as well. Let's save those changes, okay? So that was important in terms of your paid listing and claiming. If you do not allow them to claim, it might be that you never create any listings. So any listing must go through the paid route, therefore you don't need to claim, but I'll let you decide on that. Now let's go over to categories. So this is where within our listing, we're going to have a category. Now, we're going to come back to this, but basically it's no different to WordPress posts where you just add in a category and you can assign an image. The same with regions. You might say that when you join the website, you got to pick your region. Again, you can define that here. You can also do the same with tags. So it might be that maybe one of your tags is like Wi-Fi, car parking, baby facilities, toilets, vegan, freebies, whatever you want to put in there. You've also got taxonomies as well. A taxonomy, though, can be again, it can be something further that you're going to add onto the website. Again, it's a bit like a category. So Wi-Fi, toiletries, things like that. If you're unsure of what to put in here, the really great way to learn is to import a demo and look at what they put in. And then you can go, right, okay, now I understand what they're doing. Then you delete the demo and then you start to spend an hour just studying what they do. It's a great way to learn. Let's just go to listing types over here, okay? And we're going to hit add new. And I'm going to create one, and I'm going to call this one businesses. Okay, I'm not going to be very adventurous here. I'm just going to call it businesses. And I'm going to go down here to icon, and I'm going to assign an icon. And I'm just going to type in, I'm going to go in for building Now I've just typed in map and I'm actually just going to pick one of these. You could, I mean, look, you could put in home and put in a home building like this if you want for a business idea as well. But I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to type in map and I'm just going to pick this icon here. In fact, we could go for that one there. Icon locator map. Let's just go for that one, right? The singular name, well, this one is going to be business. Did I type businesses here? Business. In fact, let's change this to business, right? We're going to type in plural name is businesses, and we're going to have, I'm going to leave the permalink blank as well at the moment, because that will actually self-generate itself, or you could just put in a business as well like that. It's entirely up to you there. This is where you can actually add in an image if you want as well. So I might say, okay, all businesses will have that as the default icon over there as a featured image. And what you may want to consider though is adding in your logo. If you don't pick a logo, MyListing Theme might default to using this or something else, but it's not a bad idea to add in a logo. I haven't got one in here pre-built, but if I had, I would have gone in here and I would have added in my logo. I mean, what we'll do for now, let's just add that in. And I'm adding a cover image as well, something like that, okay? So I'm not being very creative here at the moment, but I'm just adding in like a featured image and some logos. Right, let's just hit publish for now and do nothing else, okay? Now we're going to go back to our listings and we're going to go back to categories. The reason I did that is that the order of flow of how you do things is a little bit funny, but if you do what I've just said, it makes sense. Now let's add in a category. So let's just add in a small business, for instance. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to say the listing type for this is business. Can you see what we did there? Imagine you've got two listing types, restaurants and office business, and you create categories for food type, you know, stuff like that, vegan, nuts, or whatever. You want to make sure those categories are only visible for a particular listing type, and that's how you want to do it, right? Does that make sense? This is where you can start to assign colors as well if you want. I'm going to leave the colors as blank. You can also go down here and add an image. So let me just add in a image, this one over here, okay? It's going to add in an image. And we are now going to hit add new category. Look, small is now there. Let's add in another one. Let's go for medium. Let's just do the same thing here with the listing type, go business, and let's add in a image. Let's just go for that one there. Let's just add new category like that. And let's add in a last one, which will go for large. I'm going to pick an image and we'll just go for this one. Again, you might have images, okay? And the listing type is business again. Now, you don't have to have images, okay? So I just want to show you what would happen if we didn't do that. So I'm going to go with massive. And we are going to assign this to the business, but I'm not going to add in a image, right? I'm going to leave the image blank. And then we're going to add in another one, which is a supernova. And I'm going to stop at this point, don't worry. And we are going to, again, assign it to business. There'll be no image, but I'm going to set the color to be a, let's just go for a red color, and the text color will be white. Okay, you're going to see what this does in a moment. Now at the moment, small, medium, large, massive, supernova. Okay, that's kind of okay as it is at the moment. We can add in loads of categories and we can assign them to different listing types if you want. You can also, if you want, add in a subcategory that goes to a parent type. So for small, you might break it down even further and you might have small creche, full small playgroup, small office, small grocery, right? Play store, whatever you want to do. So you could do that as well. We're just going to go with the main category for now. Let's now go over to regions, and I'm just going to type over here. In fact, no, we'll go with New York like that. And I'm not going to give it any color or anything or any picture. I'm just going to hit add new. I'm then going to go over here and I'm going to type in California like that and hit add region. And I'm going to type in Washington. No, we won't go for Washington. Let's go for Kansas. Okay, and I could, whatever you want to go for, all right? Let's just do that, all right? Normally, though, if you were working in a region or area, you wouldn't be so spread out, but maybe you are going international. Maybe you're working in Australia, and you're going to do the different regions in Australia, or maybe the UK in the Midlands. So Birmingham, Leicester, Derby, Nottingham, Lincoln, Northampton. Northampton isn't really, but you're sort of going in the Midlandsy area and stuff like that. So we've now got 3 regions and 5 categories. I'm not going to do the tags or the taxonomies, but I wanted to just show you an idea for what we're doing. Let's now go back to listing type, and it will now make sense why I did it in the order I'm doing it. Let's go to business. Let's hit edit, okay? And I am going to now go to my, well, before we go to any of this, let's just go along here. Packages. This is where you assign your paid package. We haven't created a paid package yet, so we're going to come back to this. Are we going to enable reviews? Yeah, they can do a star review, and it's going to be a full star rather than a half star. So we are going to allow people to leave a review for a restaurant or a business. Expiry date, that will be determined by the package they buy. I'm not going to touch the schema, and I'm not going to touch other. So there's quite a lot of stuff I'm not going to touch because I don't think you really need to. Right, back on the general page. Now we go to fields. We have title. Now the title, that is the label, okay, but we're going to change this title to actually be a name. And I'm going to say the placeholder is name of business, like that, okay? And we're going to hit done there. So, oops-a-daisy. So what will happen is the label will be name. It still says title there, because title is one of the most key fields that you're going to be seeing on the listing. So I would say leave it. Don't touch it. We can't touch it, to be honest. But you have name, and the placeholder will be name of business. Now, you can, if you want, put a description in here, but I will do that later on some of the other fields. But we're going to leave that for now. Let's just close that. And now you have all of these other fields. Let's add in description, okay? Let's add in category and region, because we just created them, didn't we? Let's add in contact email, logo, cover image, gallery image, websites, phone numbers. Look at this. Social networks. Do you want to add in work hours? Well, you can if you want. I won't for this. Event date. Maybe this is an event. Maybe you want to add in a tagline. Are they, products, form heading, restaurant menu? Look at all these options. But what if none of these options are good for you and you want to add in something else? So I might say like maybe they've got to add in their address. So let's put in text editor and we'll turn that one into an address. Maybe we want them to maybe do a checkbox. So it's not a category, right? It's not a region, but it's an additional checkbox. Let me just add this one in. Let's do a checkbox or a multi-select. Loads of stuff here. Now let's go through them. And by the way, look, I can pick these up and rearrange them like that. So now I'm going to say to them, logo. And this is where you're going to say like, I might put a description and say upload a logo. We recommend that you compress it with bulk resize photos.com and convert to, let me just do this, convert to, can't even spell, convert to 100% size and WebP format. Now, whether they do this or not, it's not a bad idea to put a description in, right? Is this a required field? Yes, we want to have a logo. And they can see that field. Now, if you hit enable package visibility, they can only see that field if they pay for a package, but I want them to do it regardless. So let's click done there. Okay, that is now done. What about your description? Is it going to be a text editor or a WP editor where they get more, text editor gives them the facility to have more fields. Like when you do a post or something, you have more fields there. Advanced control, basic controls, you decide, right? Is it required? Is there a minimum length? Is there a maximum length? So maybe you might say maximum length is, I wouldn't say minimum length is 0 and maximum length, let's go with, don't want it to be too long, if I have to be honest. So let's just go with 1,000 characters, okay? They can't go over 1,000 characters. Remember, Twitter is up to like 280 or something. So we don't want a huge amount of information maybe, right? Or you could leave it blank and let them put in whatever they want. Again, decide if it's a required field. I'm not going to go through all of these, but like here we got category. This is now using your category field. You can decide now that the 5 categories we at, can they only pick one? Can they pick many? Can they have a checklist? Well, if it's my businesses were small, medium, large, they should only pick one. So we go for one. But maybe the categories was what do they offer? So maybe they offer consultancy, project management, stuff like that. So maybe a business can do more than one thing. In that case, maybe you go for multi-select or a checklist. Let's just go for term select. It is a required field, okay? We're going to do that. I'm not going to go through all of these, right? But you got region, okay? Let's just make this a select because you can only be one. No, let's make it checklist. Because maybe this business operates in loads of areas. They don't just operate in New York. They also operate in California, right? So it's going to be a checklist and it's a required field. And then you got contact email. You know, you got all of these fields here, website. You can rearrange them, okay? Look, you can go, oh, let's just stick that over there. You can do what you want or you can delete it. You can even change it. So phone number is now going to be a telephone number, all right? Or whatever you want to put. So you can change the details there, okay? So please don't feel like you're restricted to what we have here. Social networks, this is a great one, all right? So they could add in Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. They can do all of that. Now I added in a custom field here. And this one, we're going to change the label to be address, like that. The place will be add your address. Okay, let's just make that, put the word there, address. This will be, well, yeah, it's not a required field. Well, no, let's make it a required field, okay? So now they'll have a text area where they can dump in their address. And the last thing we'll go is over here, we have a check field or a checkbox. I'm going to call this, let's keep this one really simple, because it could be about gender. So what is your gender? And you put lots of options. Are you a female business? Yes or no? Do you, have you liked this video? I hope you have. And we're going to go down here, make it a required field. Okay, scroll down, and now we're going to add in our options. And we're going to type in yes, no, what. I'm already subscribed. I don't know. I hope you are subscribing, okay? And we save the options. They will now be visible as checkbox items. It's not a category. It's not a region. It's not a taxonomy. But it's something that will be visible on the listing type. So you can really go places with this. Okay, I seriously, like, this is so super versatile. Right, we've done that. Let's just hit update for now, okay? Let's go back over to field. That's done. Now we go to single page. And this is where I'm going to decide now how do things look when you start to design the layout. I'm going to leave the cover image to be as it is. I'm going to leave that as it is. I'm not going to go for a gallery slider. I find that looks a bit messy. I think none looks a bit too light. I mean, none is okay. But I think cover image looks better because you get an image behind all the details there, okay? We're going to go to the cover details now. This is where you kind of now decide on what are you going to show on the cover. I like to keep this really super simple. So on the cover, what can they do? I'm not going to say contact them, you know, call them, email them or anything like that. I want them just to do two things on here. So because I want them to go to the full listing. So I'm going to say all they can do is either share it or bookmark it. They can share it or they can bookmark it to look at later on. So they might find 7 listings to go, all right, I'll bookmark, but I can look into them in detail later. Because if I say, yeah, contact them or whatever, they might make a gut instinct reaction. And then if there's like 10 listings that satisfy their search filter, they might miss out on them. So I like to leave it really simple on there. In terms of quick actions, now when they're on the actual listing page, there will be options like little buttons that enable them to kind of do things really quickly. And I tend to go with these ones, get directions, okay, call now. I might say contact the website. And I might have like another field as well. Maybe I might do something like, where is it? Get directions, call now, website, claim listing. Because maybe they can claim the listing as well. Or, hold on, where is it? Send an email. There you go. Sorry. So, and then you're going to just basically rearrange these to kind of be, what is the importance? What do you want them to do? You know, how do you want them to contact them? What's the strategy you're working on here? You can, if you want, go over here and, you know, change icons if you want as well. I would just leave them as they are because I think they look quite smart. Now, I'm just going to click update because I've remembered now there is one thing I forgot to show you. Let me go back to fields. There is one really important field you really do need to add. We've got regions. What you need to do is also add in location. And I'm going to move the location field to be over here underneath region there. Now the location field, okay, you can add in a default map location. Go to Google, type in a location, it will give you the coordinates, stick the coordinates in so that the map always goes to maybe New York or America or wherever you want it to go. And you can define on your zoom level as well. And I'm going to set this to be required. So this is now for the map to function. This is called location. I like to use the light map skin because I just find it looks nicer. Yeah, so that one was an important one because otherwise you're not going to have the map facility if no one is adding it on a map, right? Okay, let's just go back to our single page. So our quick actions, we've done that now. Now the content and tabs, this is super important, okay? So what are you going to allow them to do? So are they going to be able to take bookings maybe? Are they going to have a shop? So every listing could have a shop page as well. You know, did you even realize that? So maybe your listing can, not only can they showcase where they're based and what they do, you can even have buy products through your website. So you're almost like a multi-vendor, and this just like is a great way to just do things in a multi-vendor type of way. You're not Amazon, but you're as good as, almost in a better way. Related listings, reviews, or I mean, the two most common ones I tend to put on are profile and reviews. So let's add in reviews first, and I'm going to call this one reviews, like that. Go back to tabs. And now I'm going to add in profile, move that above, and I'm going to call this one profile, okay? And I'm going to decide on what is my layout. So when you actually go to the My Listing page, is it going to be one column, which I think is a bit too long? Is it going to be 2 columns, or is it going to be like 2/3 in 1 column? I think the 2-column approach works quite nicely, but the 2/3 and 1/3 also works really well as well. And then once you've done that, now you start to pull through what are the fields you're going to have. Now that we know there were some fields we had. So we did have a text area field, which was the address. We did have categories, we did have a gallery, we did have location. We're not going to add in a contact form. You can if you want. And what you need to then do is install contact form 7 and create that, or you could even do it with Elementor form. In the documentation, it tells you exactly how to do that, okay? You just basically create a form, a template with a form, and you add it in. We're going to, look, you got a countdown here as well if you want to have that. We're going to add in social networks. We are going to, I think that was it at the moment. Yeah. So what you really want to do is when you do your fields, make a note of all your fields and then go through them systematically, okay? So I'm going to go to this text area first. This is going to be the fields I'm going to show, okay? So I'm going to make sure that this one is the name field, okay? And I'm going to click done like that. I'm going to add in another text area field, and I'm now going to pick a description like that. In fact, you do want to, you should name it as well. So we're going to call that one description. This text area we're going to call name of business, like that. We could just put name, whatever you want to go for. Let's add in another text area. This one we're going to use the, location we've already got over there. Telephone number we've already added. Did we add that one? We're going to add in another text one, and I won't do all of them. I think you're going to get the idea, okay? Let's just do address, okay? Let's just do the address one as well. Let's just now double check that the categories is definitely, that's the categories that will come through. The gallery will pull through the gallery. The location will use the location. Look, it's already got it in there. Social networks is going to use the social networks, and you can decide if you're going to have outlined icons or colored. I think colored icons looks quite nice. I'm going to go for that one. Description is description, telephone number, and we had some other fields as well. Again, remember, you can pull those through. Now, the region field is a little bit hidden over here. They call it terms, which is a bit confusing. So I'm going to pull through terms, okay? And this will be our regions, okay? So you could put your categories in here, or your regions, or your tags. So I'm just going to go with regions for now, okay? And we're going to call this region like that, okay? And we're going to hit done there. And that will be, I'm just double checking if there's anything else you might want to pull through. No, we'll leave it at that for now, okay? Well, the reviews tag is the reviews, basically, and then we have this profile area. Now, at the minute, everything is in the main column. Can you see that? They're all in the main column. And then we have the sidebar column. So I'm going to move the phone number to be in the other one. And what you do is you click over, sorry, here it is. You got the arrows. I always get this wrong. You click the arrows and it now moves. We're going to move the region as well. We'll move the social network. We'll move the, if you had phone number, email address, website address, I would say move all of those over as well. In fact, let's just add them in. So what I've done is I've created 2 more text fields, okay, for website and email. And I've just made sure that, you know, when you go to email, you're using the right field. I added them into the sidebar column, okay? So what we're now going to do is we are going to update that. Right, so this is now kind of setting up our layout in how we're going to have things. Let's just go back to single page, content and tabs, okay? Go back to profile and just make sure, in fact, we'll stick the gallery. So I'm just going to quickly do a quick rearrangement. I'm going to put the location like that, gallery location. In fact, gallery we'll put above there because we're going to try and draw them in, aren't we? So categories, we'll even put there like that. Cool. Right. So we're going to go with that layout there. Again, you can arrange and modify it to be how you want. You know, don't follow what I do. It's just the way I am. The similar listings. Now, I don't always like to show the similar listings. And I'll tell you why. If you're a business and you're paying, do you really want another business that is similar to you to be showing on your listing page? I feel like I don't really want that. Because if I'm paying for something, why would I want to share my page with someone else? I'm on the map as it is with like 50 other businesses, but I don't want to be competing against them because they might win my business, right? So I would say, don't do that. But that's just me. You do it if you want. Now we go to the preview card. Now the preview card, the one I like to go for is default, and I leave the background as an image. Now, this is going to define how does the little card look before you go into the actual listing. So what I tend to say is I will add in a button and I will say the label for this one is going to be, what you need to do, I always forget this, hit these square brackets first. I'm going to type in name, and that is the title, not the author name or the logged in user. Do you remember our title? We gave it the name. When we did the fields, when we said, what are our field names? We called it name. So I want that to show at the top. Now, below the title, I might show, now here's where you have to think about, are you going to show the phone number? Are you going to show the website? Are you going to show like anything else about them? And I would say maybe what we'll do is I'll just add in a field below it, and I'm going to click here and I'm going to go, oops, let's not do a icon. Let's come out of that. Let's go over to label. I'm going to go here and I'm going to type in cat and I'm going to show the category. And that's all we show. And what about the footer section? Well, in the footer section, you know, you might decide you want to show something else like the terms maybe. So it might be the region they're in maybe, or some other details. I'm just going to go over here and I'm just going to say we're going to pick in the region like that. But I will also say that you can also have some further buttons like quick view and bookmark as well. So we're going to keep this pretty simple. So what will happen is you'll have the name. So what will happen is you'll get the details showing like this and you'll have your terms. Now, don't forget, you can come back to this and modify this at any time in the future. So what we do now, don't worry about it if you feel like this is not the way to do it. Do it, look at it, study it, and then go back and refine it. Because once you've built it, you're then good to go with modifying it, right? You got to get something done in the first place. Let's now go to over here. And then we have the quick view functionality. I'm going to leave this to be a default, and the map will be a light map. Okay, I'm keeping it really simple here. Then I'm just going to click update. This is how things look when you hit quick view, and you'll see that when we test it out. Now then, that was the preview card. Now we have the search form. This is very, very important, okay? What are the options we are going to show on our page? We've got order. You can decide, the order by, if there's an order functionality. Are you going to allow someone to search by location? Well, yeah, that's the whole point we're adding in the map. So I'm going to put location in. They can even do proximity. So you might say, let me just go into it. Location is location, right? Proximity, miles or kilometers. How big are the units they're allowed to do? Are we going to allow, not range, sorry. Range is one you would do for pricing. So it might be you say, maybe you're selling cars or renting out, and they might pick a price range. That's a good one there. Let's go for, let me now make sure I pick the right ones here. We could have a text search. So maybe just type in some text like, maybe it's a restaurant website and they type in Indian or Mexican or something like that. It will now pull out all the listings where the word Indian appears or Mexican appears. So that could be a good one. We could now go for a drop down, or we could even go for a checkbox as well. So I'm going to go for, say, a checkbox like this. I'm going to drop it in over here. And this checkbox is going to be using the category field, right? How many items do you want to show? If we've only got 5, so we'll leave it as 8. We're going to order it by name. Or maybe you order it by how many items there are. So I'll just go with name ascending for now. Hide empty items. So let's say we've only got people showing for small businesses. Medium and large will not be visible because it stops the user from clicking it and going, oh, there are no results, because that looks really, really bad, right? I'm just going to hide empty items, enable multi-select so they can pick more than one item. It's a checkbox and we hit done. And you could do the same for region as well. So I could make another one of these, like a drop down or something, and they could now pick region as well. We'll leave region off for now, okay? And so that's the search form. Then we have the basic form. That is the one you'll see on the home page or anywhere else where you add in the basic search bar. So the basic search bar, I'm just going to go in for a drop down, okay, like that. And I'm going to make this be the category. And I'm not going to hide empty items just so you can see how it works. And it's going to be ordered by name in ascending order like that. I'm just going to have one box. Here's where you could have options. So on the demo, I think you had price on one of them and category and region and stuff like that. So if you want to add in location, or you just want them to go, right, pick your category, they pick it and then they see the map. And now they're drawn in to now pick something else they want to go for. It's up to you. Or you just go for a text search, or you just go for a general search bar, which basically will pull back anything and everything. Not always the best one to use in my opinion. Listing order. There's an order by, latest, top rated, random. Let's get rid of random. Random's a bit, I don't like that one. Latest, top rated, nearby. Let's go for nearby. Let's put that on there. Okay. A to Z, maybe even, but that's kind of not a bad listing. In fact, we'll go with top rated like that. Okay. No, we'll go with latest. That's not a bad list to go for. Then you have the explore tabs. Now, when you're on the map, there will be tabs at the top that allow you to pick like a quick filtering list. You'll see what I mean. Here is the filter with all of our filters that we have got over here. That's the filters. Categories. This is now where you'll just have small, medium, large, and you pick it and it filters. You could also add in regions. Now, do you remember when I created this? Some of them I gave an image, some of them I gave no image, and some of them I gave a color. You're going to see what this now looks like when we do that. And I'm going to add in all 3 of them there. Right, let's hit update. In a nutshell, we have now created our listing type. What we haven't done yet, though, is add in a package for purchases. Go to WooCommerce. I will put a link in for WooCommerce and understanding shop and single product templates and all of the settings for WooCommerce. Go and watch that if you really need to understand that, okay? But once you've set up your payment gateway and all of that, you're good to go with creating a product. Let's click add new and add in a product. I'm going to call this product a paid package. You might have basic, silver, gold, premium. You might then put in what do you get for this, right? You're going to put in your details. When you come down here, by the way, you might want to set a product image as well. Let's just go with that. Everything is that as well. Set in some product tags, paid listing package. I don't know, call it what you want. Okay, really, seriously, go for what you want there. When you import a demo, it will build this stuff for you. So you can now see, well, what did they do and what did they pick? Great learning for you. What you need to do is pick a listing package. This is important. Don't go for simple products or anything like that. You've got to go for a listing package. And I'm going to say the price of this is $149, but we're going to give it to you today for $99. You can do that if you want. Does this limit have a limit for 30 days or 1 year? Or maybe it's unlimited. Okay, sorry, wrong one. Listing limit. Can I buy, how many packages can I buy? So can I only ever buy this once? So I put in one. Or can I buy this multiple times? We'll go for unlimited. Listing duration, 30 days, 365 days, 90 days, or leave it blank if it's unlimited. If you buy this, are you a featured listing? That could be whereby on your website you have an area where you allow them to be a featured product or a featured listing. I don't always go for this. Will they be marked as verified? Yes, because they're paying for it. Very important if you are claiming a listing, really important. They can be using this for claiming. And do you want to disable repeat purchases? So once you've bought this once, you can't buy again, right? So if I go over here and I say one, when you buy this, you can only do one listing. You can't do two listings. Every listing, there is a separate cost, okay? And I might say you can buy it once and never again. Or I might say you can buy it once, but you can buy 10 more if you want to do 10 more restaurants on there. You decide on your business model and what you're going for, okay? You can add in a short description if you want, but this description here is totally fine, okay? You might want to add in a category as well, and I'm going to call this one paid. This falls under the paid category. And we are now going to publish this. Now then, if you are going to have an additional package, so let me go for mega paid package, right? We're not going to change the details, and I'm going to call this one 999, right? And the discount price is 499, okay? Let's just do that, and now I've done update. I've now got two packages. What if the user wants to upgrade? So they've got the paid one, but they want to upgrade to the mega one or even downgrade. To do that, you have to create a third package. So I'm going to call this one upgrade, okay? And, whatever you want to call it, okay? This is also going to be a paid package. Now, instead of picking a listing package, you actually have to pick grouped product, okay? Grouped product. You go to linked products, and I'm going to say that the packages are, I'm going to go with paid, and it's the mega, and it is also the paid package, right? And then I'm going to just publish that, because now the user, when they go to their account, they can actually switch between the upgrade packages. You might want to give it an image as well. And you can see the price range there, 99 to 499, because we have the two packages. Now then, go back to your listing type. Go back to edit. By the way, this is where you would add in your other listing types. So office business, restaurant, cars, whatever. Okay, you can have as many as you want. Let's edit this. Now go to packages. This was a paid package. Remember, look, here they are. So you can now buy this with either the mega or the paid, like that. And that now will already have within it the upgrade functionality to allow them to upgrade if they so want. That's all you've got to do there, okay? So we've just really quickly created some information there. Now I want to very quickly go over the Elementor header, footer, and building out your page, okay? We have tons of tutorials on that, but I want to just focus on how. Go down to Elementor down here, or even templates, okay? And go to saved templates. Okay, we're going to leave this page, don't care about it. And we are going to click add new. And I'm going to say I want a header. And I'm going to call this header template. What I do here is the same thing you do to footer. Instead, you'd pick footer. But instead, we're going to go with header. create template. Now you can create your own header template from scratch, but for the purpose of this video, in fact, no, let's do it from scratch. Okay, you could insert one of these or just do it yourself. So let's go here. I'm going to go for a single column. I'm going to set the background color for this to be, let's just go for a dark color like that. Okay, I'm just doing a fake one here. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to pick a header that we're going to drop in here. I'm going to make that header be a white color like that. We do have better videos explaining Elementor that I strongly recommend you watch. So I'm going to go to the section here, make it a full width. And I'm just going to have like a narrow gap going all the way around it. And I've now added in a header. This could be a word. It could be a logo even, right? So I could put in a logo. I could drop in an icon. I could drop in an image as well. Okay, so I could drop in an image. Let's just drop in our favorite dog image there. At the minute the image is above the logo, I could pick this, go over to Navigator and swap them around like that. I could go to the image and size it. And I could say, right, let's just make this 50 pixel. Like, why did I do that? That's tiny. Let's make it 100. Right? It's still below it though, okay? So if I go to heading, go to advanced and make it be a custom width and make the image be a advanced custom width, it will now sit by side and I can start to modify how close they are to one another. You know, you can start to rearrange things. The reason I showed you this is because this is where you can build your own like nav menu. I'm going to drop that in as well over here. Make that be advanced and make that be custom. I'm going to make my nav menu be... we haven't got a nav menu, sorry. So what we'll do is let's just very quickly go over to WordPress appearance, because I really want to show you this. I don't want to just skip this. Let's just go to appearances down here. Let's go to menu, okay? And let's just create a menu. Right, I'm just going to create a menu. I'm just going to call it main, like that, okay? And I'm just going to put in these pages. Right, let's just add them all, okay? Because this is just a fake website we're creating at the moment. Let's save it. If we now go back over here and we update this. Oh yeah, by the way, whenever you update, it's going to say where do you want to show it. And I'm going to say show this on the entire website, okay, like that. If I now just refresh this page, what's going to happen is it's now going to bring through the menu, okay? I'm not going to spend time modifying how this looks just because of the purposes of the video that we're doing here at the moment. By the way, I will go to my section and make this vertical align be middle like that, okay? So I could now go in and I can start to modify how this looks, how it's laid out, where it sits. But why am I showing you this? If I go over here and I now pick a button like we click that button here. I'm going to change this button to be add listing, join us, apply, whatever you want to call it, okay? And this page will actually take us to the add listing page, which we've not built yet. So we're going to come back to this, okay? Let me just make this be custom as well, like that, okay? And I'm going to go here. This is not a great design I'm showing you right now, okay? So please don't look at it and go, whoa, what is he creating? If I go to column, I'm just going to set this to be a space between like that, okay? This is a rubbish layout. There's and everything on here as well. But what you're doing is you get to rearrange and create that header to be how you want. We did a website once where we had like 2 buttons here, add listing, and we had another button here for register for something else. So you can make it very varied and work for you. When you start to use a themes header, you're a little bit restricted on the layout and how it looks, especially when you get to the mobile. Again, we have got videos on building full site tutorials for Elementor. So I recommend you do watch them if you're struggling with Elementor. But that's a basic home page, okay? Let me just go over here to pages now, okay? And we are going to create, we're going to go back over to our home page here that we already kind of created, but we haven't built yet. That was the header, by the way. And look, it's already here now because it's set up to be viewable on the entire site rather than an individual page. I'm very quickly just going to go over here and I'm just going to create a section. I'm going to make this section be a boxed width and I'm going to set the height to be, in fact, we're going to go with VH100. So that's the full height of the page, right? I'm going to give this a style of a background image. You could use a color, right? You could use a gradient. You could put a slideshow in, but I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to pick in, let's go for this image here again, right? I'm going to go for center. I'm going to go with a fixed background. I'm going to say no repeat, and I'm going to set it to be a cover like that. Okay, so there's, I mean, the dog looks a little bit blurred there because of the way the photo is taken, but the dog is not blurred. Now, inside of here, you could add in words, all right? You could add in a header, right? You could put in an impact statement, make it really big and bold and whatever you want to do, okay? So you could have in your statement like that. You could rearrange it to look how you want. But what I really want to show you is if you go over here and you type in 27, because the MyListing is built by the 27 Collective. So if you type in search, you get the basic search form. So let's just drop that in there. Now, you won't see it visibly straight away because you haven't added anything here, the listing type. So I'm now going to say, I want to show the business. So if you've got 5 business types, you decide what you're going to show on the homepage. And look, we have our drop down. And the drop down is going to be our list, our categories. And then we can search for it. Now you see this color of this button here. The color for that is defined though. If you go back to your theme type, okay, which is over here, theme tools, see this color? No, it's not. There you go, general. So let's now go and change that to be an orange color, right? Like, no, let's go for purple. Now let's go for orange, right? And update that. We go back over here. Let's publish the page. And then I'm just going to hit return now. And look at that form's color now. It's gone to orange. So can you see now how? You might look at it and go, well, where does this color apply? Is that starting to make sense now with how things fit in? You can modify the width of that, how it looks. You know, if you built your basic search to have more items than one, they will now be visible and they will appear here. So you can make this look how you want. So this is our home page. Let's now go over down here to settings and reading and make sure the home page is the home page there, like that. Okay. Now there are some other pages we do need to set. I'm not going to pad this out because there's loads of things you could have added in here. So if I go to 27, right, you might have added like a feature section like that. You could have added in, you know, and then you're going to put some text in. That was not a great one to go for, actually. You could add in your listing feed, your categories. And believe me, look at the demos and what they give you for you to really pad out your pages, your package selection. But we're going to make this really simple. Okay, let's now just go back over to here. Let's just leave this page. And I'm now going to create 2 more pages. No, 2 more pages, sorry. Add listing and the explore page. Let's do the add listing one first. So we're going to call this one add listing like this, okay? And edit with Elementor. I'm not going to spend a lot of time making this fancy or anything. I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to type in add. And I can see there add listing forms. Let's just drop that in. Okay, I'm not going to do anything fancy here. I'm going to say this one is going to be for the business page like that. And we are now going to just hit publish like that. Okay. And that's literally it. That's all I'm going to do for now. If you want to mess around with the look of it, you can do that. All right. That's all we're going to go for. If you change your product creation date, you can get it to be in the order you want it to be. Right. So we've published that. Let's go back over to our pages bit. Okay. I'm flying through this now. We're going to add new and we can call this explore, or even you can call this search or find. Right. How about we call it find? Find businesses like that. Right. We hit edit with Elementor. Takes us to the page. Now over here, I'm just going to go here and type in explore. I'm going to drop that in. I will make this section be a full width, by the way. I'm now going to click over here for the explore functionality. What are you looking for? You know, look, it's up to you what option you go for. I'm going to go with like a 1-column approach. Compare button, you can add that if you want. The listing types, if you don't add anything, it won't show. Right, so this is now, no, you click, leave that. There's no listings available because we haven't added any in yet. And we are going to say that there's no adverts visible. That's all fine. Let me just double check. Add listing type. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So this is going to work for us now when we start adding listings. Let's just hit publish. Now let's go over back to our theme options because there was some stuff we hadn't set yet, had we? So if we now go over here to explore, we're going to say the explore is the, let me just find it, find business page. We're going to say that you could have maybe up to 30 listings per page or 10, whatever you want to show. And the add listing page is add listing over there. So let's update that. Now, there is one other page I might as well add while we're here, okay, because I haven't added it yet, and it's the claim page. So you go over here, we're just going to put claim listings like that. Now, when you go here, there is no need for you to edit with Elementor. All you do is paste this, claim listing, and you just publish that, and that's all you got to do there. Now, let's just go back over to our page here. If we go to listings and go to settings, do you remember down here we had, where is it, claim listings? We're just going to go in now and pull in the claim listings page there. So that is now done, and we hit save changes. And then we're going to go over to our pages. Let's just go to the home page for now, okay? And if we go to our header, and I'm going to click edit header, over here, this button, which is add listing, I'm going to now type add, because this will link to the add listing page. Otherwise, the button doesn't go anywhere. So you've got to make it go somewhere, right? Otherwise, what's the point of it? So that is now set up. So if we were to now, okay, just go out of the website in a way. No, we won't go out of the website. Sorry, I didn't mean that. If we now view the website, okay, like that, we are now here. If I click add listing, I will now go to the listing bit, and I'm now going to pick, say, the pay buy this package. I will add in my details. Okay, look, here's that drop down. Have you liked this video? So you can click, yes, I did. Let's go to location over here. Let me type in Beverly, look at that, Beverly Hills, California. You know, so you can start adding locations like that. I could maybe pick Kansas. This is completely wrong now, isn't it? Let's go California there like that. In fact, let's tick all of those. Let's go in and add some options like that as well. You go through all of these things, you add in your details, and then after you've done all of that and you've added in your images and you've added in your social medias, look, Facebook, and you drop in your URL, drop your address in, okay? When you then get down here and submit, okay, that will then take you to the checkout page for WooCommerce where you then pay and your account is all set up. So if I go to find businesses now, I mean, you're not going to get anything on here at the moment, okay, because I haven't added in any listings, but can you see how the results are showing? So you could add in a location. So I could add in like a postcode, and then I could start to search, say, that postcode, and I could go, right, give me everything within a certain radius of that, order by nearby or not, or just give me like certain types of categories. And this is where it would list down all of them. Now, we don't have any items showing because we haven't added anything in yet, but this is where they all would be. And the same with regions as well. Now, some of the categories we gave an image, you'd get the image and the wording. If you gave it a background color, you get the color and the wording. Or if you didn't have any wording, sorry, no color or image, you would just get the wording. But the demo, I mean, if I show you that, if you go to categories here, can you see here, you get the image. And if you didn't give an image, you just get the color and the wording. So you can mix it up as you want. This is how the quick view works, basically in what details it's showing. And when you click onto the item, you can now go in and see the details. This is the 2-column approach. Equal columns, by the way. Here's your items you can see over here. Here's your quick actions that you might want to enable. And the stuff you can do with this, if you think long and hard about what you do, is really, really versatile. Now, I want to very quickly just show you a couple of code snippets that I think are quite important. Now, we're back into the website. If we go to snippets, which is free, we go to all snippets and we click add new. This one is going to be called redirect thank you. Now, this code, I will put a link. I will put a link for you to go and get this this tutorial, okay, this code, because what it will do is when someone submits a setting, they go to a page that says thank you, but it looks quite bland. And if you want them to go to a special thank you page that you've created in Elementor, what you need to do is drop in this code. And where it says URL down here, you put in the URL of where they will get directed to. If you don't do that, they will go to just a plain thank you page. Maybe you want to say thank you, da 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 da. Have you been here? Have you been that? Did you know we've got this? Please share our website with a social sharing icon. Things you can do to, help your marketing and your branding. That is something I definitely recommend you do use, the redirect thank you. And if you go down over here to Loco Translate and you go to themes, okay, this is really good and important if you want to now change the terminology in the website. So if we now go to MyListing, okay, and you do need to use the English United States, even if you're in the UK, you must use the English United States. What you do is you click edit, okay, and then over here, do hit sync first of all before you do anything, right? Hit sync. I like to hit sync twice. I'm now going to type in the word listing. And it will now tell me everywhere the word my listing appears. Now, what you do is you got to do this step by step. Work through your website and you will start to notice the word my listing appear as a description or a header somewhere. And what you can do is you start to modify it. So I might say, here you go, submit listing, right? So the word submit listing, right? So instead of it saying the word submit listing, I want it to say submit, keep the window open to continue later. Aha, right? And if I do that and I now save, everywhere the word submit listing appears, it will say that. I'll do it to this one as well. It might be that you might want to have the word say, let's say you got the word claim listing, like this one here. You don't want to have the word claim listing, so you might change it to claim business, like that. And if I now save that, okay, claim business. That is now what will appear whenever the word claim listing is visible. So if I had my website and I had a listing, rather than claim listing, it's going to say claim business. I mean, I haven't gone into textbook simple Elementor tutorial here because we have got other tutorials for that and I'll put a links in there for that. But if you go through the functionality and the features and the settings of this, this can be super, super good and versatile for you to have an amazing directory website. I hope you like, subscribe, share, and follow. If you're unsure and you want us to build the website for you, get in touch. We don't just do tutorials. We are a web design agency as well. I hope to hear from you. Take care. See you soon.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat.